Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. You're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. We've got a ton of actionable information coming your way. We're covering almost every sport today. We got Tokyo Brandon right off the bat. He's about to unveil a new outfit. He's going to talk Phillies and Mets Game 3 and Phillies and Mets Game 3. So he's got two bets for us on the same game. Rob Veno has got a bet for us on the Monday Night Football game. Kansas City hosting New Orleans, and Carmine Bianco at the end of the show. He's got a prop bet for us on that very same Monday Night Football game, and also NHL starts tomorrow. He's got a bet for us on one of the three games tomorrow. Teddy's 6Bs, one of the best segments of the week. And what, my friend, is your big game breakdown?
We're going to talk about the Yankees-Royals Game 2 tonight. We'll break that down before this show is through. So 6Bs, Yankees-Royals, and a whole bunch of baseball, hockey. And wait, we have hockey? Yeah. Karma's hockey.
Tomorrow.
And, of course, football Monday night for tonight. So loaded show. Let's get right into it, Lawrence.
Teddy, I want to talk NFL football. I want to talk about what went down, how I did, et cetera, et cetera. But we're going to do that all after Tokyo Brandon. We need some info right now, and he's the man to give it to us. Let's see this outfit, Tokyo. Yeah, I expected. I knew you. I said to Dan, he's going to be wearing a Fufo jacket. Seems very appropriate. As normal, it's not on correctly. Right shoulder's kind of fallen off a little bit. Hey, look, you're a colorful man, Tokyo. You clearly have self-esteem issues and need to be the center of attention, and I understand and accept that. However, today is not Trash Talk Tuesday, so instead, you look marvelous. Marvelous.
Thank you, sir. And I'm feeling marvelous because Japanese basketball just started, and I went on a 7-2 run the first weekend of Japanese basketball. Baseball, number one in 2024. And everything else is going well, too. I'm the number one all sports profit capper in 2024, so I'm feeling good. I mistakenly put both of my plays for the same game, so I apologize for that.
Yeah, whatever. It's all good, dude. We will talk about your jacket in a sec, but let's get into some actionable info. Phillies and Mets Game 3. It seems like you've got two bets for us. Why don't you give them both out, and then Teddy will jump right in and take them apart.
Okay. Again, apologies for both plays being on the same game, but they're good plays, and if you bet them, you'll probably win because the Phillies, despite their performances in the postseason, they're actually a top 10 hitting team in Major League Baseball. And they're going against Sean Manaea. And Sean Manaea, not so good against these Phillies, especially in his career. He's got 97 at-bats against, with a 309 average against, and a 1,027 OPS against, which is horrible. And we have a huge sample size with him, too, because he's faced him 3 times this season, all of them at home, which is what he's doing in this particular situation as well. He's given up 3 earned runs, and then he got smacked really hard, 3 2/3 innings for 6 earned runs. And then he did have, at the beginning of the season, back in May, he gave up 1 earned run. But it's 16 innings total against this team, and his OPS not too good. His career OPS not too good. I have a feeling the Phillies are going to hit him pretty good. Despite the Mets bullpen being ranked 7 out of 30 teams, they haven't been performing too well in this postseason. So I think the Phillies team total of 3.5, little bit too low. So I am going to urge people to take the over 3.5 for the Philadelphia Phillies in this game. And that's my first play for Game 3 of the Phillies versus Mets.
And tell us about Sean Manaea. You've got a prop bet for Sean Manaea that you're interested in for this game as well. Philadelphia over and your prop bet don't necessarily correlate, though. Talk about that, if you would.
It does not. So play number 2. is going to be Sean Manaea prop. And actually, generally speaking, you would think when a hitter gets hit or when a pitcher gets hit by hitters really hard, you would think he's walking a lot of batters, but that's not particularly the case in Sean Manaea's case. He only walks 1.7 batters per outing. And a lot of these power teams like the Dodgers, Yankees, they generally will walk more than 3 times per 9 innings. But the Phillies have a fairly low walk rate. And if you look at Manaea's history against the Phillies, he has a walk rate of 1.7. And he also, in the last 3 starts this season that I talked about earlier, he's only walked 2 batters in 16 2/3 innings. His outing here will probably be 5 or less, maybe 6 innings, but I doubt he'll get through 6. And I really doubt he'll walk 2 batters in this outing. So my second play for this game is Sean Manaea under 1.5 walks allowed.
So we've got the Phillies team total over, and we have Manaea walks under for game
Correct.
3 from Tokyo, Brandon. Let's talk about the Phillies team total, all right? Game 1, held to 2 runs. Game 2, shut out through the first 5, and then a big rally against the Mets bullpen arms late, including a walk-off winner. Now they have a day off. So it's a team that kind of had a week off, played a couple of days, had a day off. Does that affect the rhythm? Which do you expect it to affect the rhythm more of? The batters or the pitchers when you're talking about these disjointed, you play for a day or 2, then you're off, then you had a week off, then you're back in. Who does it affect more?
Yeah. I've hung around some of these guys when I was a scout, and the pitchers are by far more creatures of habit. When they get knocked off their rhythm, it affects them a lot more. When they have a major routine, a 5-day routine, and when you make that 5-day routine 6 days, it really throws them off. The hitters, they don't mind so much. They're in there every day, take a week off. They can take BP. They can ask someone to throw hard at them. They can use a machine to throw curveballs and straight fastballs at them. So I don't think their timing gets thrown off quite as much as pitchers. Pitchers are those, you remember the movie Major League? That guy was like, treating his bat and praying to, those are more like pitchers, not hitters. So those guys are
Dennis
really
Hasbert.
What's that? Yeah. Those guys.
Joba.
Joba. It's more the pitchers that are like that than the hitters, actually. They're really superstitious and they have their little irks and quirks. The hitters, I don't think it'll affect them. And what I do like about the Phillies here is they're on the road, so they'll get 9 innings of at-bats, even if they're winning 8-3. And I do expect the Phillies to win the game. Not enough to put a play on it, though.
Tokyo Brandon joining us, everyone. And Tokyo, just to go back to the top of your segment. Thank you, dude. As you said, you're giving us 2 picks that will probably win. Greatly appreciated that you didn't give us 2 picks that will probably lose.
Thank you.
Way to go. Outstanding.
Thank you.
So this jacket of yours, are you going to tweet out a picture of you walking the streets in that thing? Or is this just like, how much noise can I make on WagerTalk Today?
Oh, I'll tweet a pic. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Like you're going to wear this in public.
I went to a temple yesterday, a Buddhist temple, and I was wearing, what I normally wear. I sent pictures. I put pictures on Twitter X. I could wear this. Yeah, I could wear this to the Buddhist temple. No problem.
So I don't remember the term. I think it's grill. Is gold teeth next?
It could be in the future because those are pretty easy to do. So it could be. I kind of feel inspired by, if you ever saw the Seinfeld episode where Kramer became a pimp, I kind of get inspired by that. It's kind of,
well, we know you are a Kramer freaking fanatic, and you're also a betting fanatic. Tokyo Brandon, guys, as good as it gets in betting, and really, I mean that sincerely. However much fun I make of this guy, and I make a lot of fun. There's very few, if any, better at betting than Tokyo Brandon. What do you got going with the clients? And then please leave.
I do have a feature MLB playout today that you can pick up at that link right there. And I also have a Japanese basketball full season for $199. As I said, first weekend of Japanese basketball, I went 7-2. And actually, despite being known as a baseball capper, I'm the number one basketball capper at WagerTalk the last 365 days. I've won 120 units in basketball, mainly due to Japanese basketball because I don't do college basketball. Tomorrow is $5 Tuesday, and I will have a play for $5 in MLB tomorrow as well.
There we go. Tokyo Brandon, everyone. WT, a listener, writes, Prez, you're a legend. It's great to watch this show live. I am a legend in my mind. I appreciate that I am in yours, but that probably is where it ends. But I'm also appreciative that you logged in and joined us today. Welcome, everybody, to the chat room. Nice to see you, Ace Rothstein. Haven't seen your name in a while. Jessica, Rochester, Johnny, Daryl Benton. These are names that I've only seen a few times. Chris Brady, Hal. Love having you guys with us. Thank you, everybody. Please take a second out of your day and hit that like button. It would be greatly appreciated. And although I don't want to get into it at all, because this is not a show about this, but it is October 7th today, and it's a day that I hope to forget. That's for sure. It's a one-year anniversary of a horrible day for my people, so lots of love. Teddy covers. How did you do yesterday?
I went 2-1. I had 3 sweats, and 2 of them ended up on the right side, and the third one ended up on the wrong side. How about yourself?
Yes, I want to talk about that third one. So I went 4-2 for my clients yesterday. But guys, so many of you took advantage of that 1 month package that I put up, NFL 99, $99 for a whole month. I actually asked head office today if they could keep it going till next Sunday. So that package, that promo code is still active. NFL 99. You get a whole month of my plays for $99. I went 4-2 for my clients yesterday, Teddy. I did lose. It's been my teasers that have killed me all season. I'm now 1-7. 1-7 in teasers. I'm 67% in NFL ATS bets. I'm up profit in my totals. It is the teasers that have destroyed me. And Carm is actually going to discuss that a little bit in his segment. But I did have a nice winning day for my clients. But more importantly, when you buy my package, you get my thoughts on every play across the board. You got my thoughts on the under in the New England game. You got my thoughts on the over in the Jacksonville game. You got my thoughts on Dallas. You got my thoughts on Minnesota. My clients yesterday had a monster day. But man, Teddy, it is my fault that I have so much respect for all of the cappers at WagerTalk. One of my favorite plays on the board was Dallas. I said it on the show. I said it on WagerTalk last call. I screamed it to the rooftops. You drew. Everybody loved Pittsburgh. It kept me off of Dallas. What should I do, dude? How do I not listen? I have so much respect for you guys. How do I not take into account that all of you love Pittsburgh, and therefore I just got to lay off the game, and maybe I'm not seeing it right?
So you said so many things there, I'm not even sure where to unpack. Let's start with this. Dallas wasn't a right side. All right, it was a coin flip game, came down to the 4th down play, and you got the right side in the 4th down play. So not having Dallas on your card, okay, you did a coin flip game.
They also missed a field goal.
But you're not. Dallas was not the right side winner in that game. That game was a sweat. Didn't matter what you had, okay?
So you made me feel better.
Yeah, so that's factor number 1. Factor number 2 is, just like our audience, they make their own betting decisions. You make your own betting decisions. We all do. That's the beauty of America. We all get to pick and choose what we want to bet. We don't have to bet what the government tells us to bet or something like that. So the fact that you get to make those, you get to decide who you listen to and who you don't. You get to decide how much influence other people have on you or you don't. And the fact that you continually come on and complain about the same thing. Oh, I listen to other people. That's
I
on you,
don't
bro. That's not on
continually
anybody else.
complain. I complain to you privately. And I know
Every
you're
week.
sick of it. Fair
Every
enough.
week, Lawrence. It's the same
Fair enough.
complaint.
Okay. Robert Crane jumps into the chat room and writes, Prez is puke. Where do you go from there, Teddy? Maybe Robert Crane's fetish is puke. Okay, Robert, listen, I don't judge, bro. Some like scat. Some like golden. You like puke. Thank you, my friend. Lots of love. Teddy, it's time for your 6Bs.
For the love of God, it's long past time for the 6Bs. Let's do it. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. A recap of what just happened this past weekend from a betting perspective. And there were some beats this weekend. How about Oregon, minus 24 on Friday night? First two drives, they have two interceptions near the goal line. They had 79-yard drive, 75-yard drive, no points. And they're still up 31-0 in the fourth quarter, minus 24. Sparty's last two drives, Oregon's not playing defense the same way. Touchdown, and then a field goal with 25 seconds left. Spartans lose only by 21, 31-10 final. They get the money. Wrong side winner, Oregon. That was a bad beat. UNLV money line was kind of a bad beat too. They have a 7-point lead before the final possession of regulation. They're up 3 in overtime. It's 3rd and 20 for Syracuse. You have a targeting foul on pretty much a normal sack. The booth review says no targeting, but the personal foul stands. First down, and of course Syracuse scores the touchdown then to win the game. Tough if you had UNLV in that ball game. Tough if you had UNLV futures at big long shots, because the Rebels team certainly felt live. Not after that loss, though, to do something in January. On Saturday, how about this? Missouri's down 41-7. They're 4th and goal with 8 seconds left. What do you do in that spot? Yeah, you go for it. You don't kick the field goal, but the Tigers kicked the field goal, 41-10
Why?
the final. The total in that game? Oh, it was 48.5, by the way. Yeah, that sent an over to be an under to be an over for Missouri. That was a tough beat if you had that one. And the NFL yesterday, I mean, the Bengals plus 2.5, that was brutal. Absolutely brutal. They led the whole game. They led by double digits in the fourth quarter. Then Burrow throws a pick as they're trying to run out the clock. I mean, great play by Marlon Humphrey. They're still fine. Their dog's going into overtime. First drive of overtime. Lamar takes his eyes off the snap. Fumble. Bengals recover at Baltimore 38-yard line. They don't even need a first down to win with McPherson. But what'd they do? Very conservative play calls. All you need is a good hold for McPherson on the field goal attempt. The holder drops the ball. McPherson's kick sails left. The Ravens hand off to Derrick Henry on the first play. Game over. Plus 2.5. No good. Tough if you had Cincy on Sunday. When it comes to bad bets, let's see. That UConn 99.5 fumble return touchdown on the last play of the game was all over the internet, but it didn't matter. ATS, the Huskies, a bad bet in that game. Minus 11 at the open, minus 17.5 at the close. Even with the 99.5-yard fumble return on the final play of the game, they only won by 9. All the UConn money lost. They bet Iowa against Ohio State. Hawkeyes were as high as plus 23. They got bet down as low as plus 17. The Buckeyes won that game by 4 touchdowns. We previewed that here on WagerTalk Today. 49ers got bet up on game day, minus 7.5 against the Cardinals. Arizona rallied back from a double-digit deficit in the fourth quarter to win. The second time that's happened to San Francisco in the last 3 weeks. San Fran, bad bets. Seattle got bet up to minus 7 against the Giants. No neighbors, no Singletary for New York, didn't matter. Giants had Seattle had a 100-yard fumble return touchdown, and they still lost the game straight up. Giants a true right side, Seattle a bad bet. And the Packers-Rams total from as low as 45 to as high as 50, 24-19 final. All of those over bets lose. When it comes to bad for the books, this was not a great weekend for the books, was not a great Sunday for the books. Army was the wise guy special on Saturday. They opened minus 8, 8.5 against Tulsa. They closed minus 14. They won 49-7. By the way, the Cadets are 5-0 right now. Tulane, too, they were as low as minus 11 against UAB. Wise guy special got bet up high as 19.5 at some books. They won 71-20. Trent Dilfer, well, his college coaching career not going all that well. Virginia Tech from as low as minus 3 to as high as minus 9.5 at Stanford. They won that game 31-7. The bettors cleaned up on that one. In the NFL yesterday, Vikings money, all Vikings money, pros and Joes. The Jets fell behind 17-0, rallied back, but Rodgers' third interception sealed the deal. Minnesota won by 6, bad for the books. Jags Colts landed right in the middle, minus 2.5, plus 3.5, both widely available. Wise guys cleaned up when the Jags won by 3. That was bad for the books. Every parlay card of the Commanders over the Browns. Joe's ahead of the pros when it comes to figuring out this year's bet on teams. Commanders, a bad result for the house yesterday. And nobody bet the Raiders. Denver now on a 3-game winning streak. They were bet up to minus 3 and won by 16. Bet 2, a bad result for the books. There you have it. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. Mr. Prez, back to you, my friend.
What an incredible segment. Teddy, real quick, a lot of guys, including me, I just didn't want to argue with you, frankly. I'm tired of arguing. Think you're out of your mind with the Pittsburgh was the right side. I'll just read what DT plus the points wrote. Teddy, while I agree Dallas was not a clear right side, as it came down to one play, it was turnovers, including a block kick. Dallas outgained Pittsburgh by 200 yards, 5.8 yards per play to 4.2 yards per play. We watched a different game, and that's okay, Teddy. I still love you. It's fine that you watched a different game than I did.
No, here's my take. When your team turns the ball over 3 times and doesn't force anything to the last play of the game, that don't mean you have a right side. Yardage does not equal right sides. Game flow equals right sides. There was no separation from Dallas in that game. They made too many mistakes. They made mistakes all game. So that's my take.
Did there be separation? They were a plus 2.5 dog. We're not saying that they were minus 7 and won on a fluke punt return by 1 point. They were never supposed to create separation. They were in that game from start to finish, just like a dog is supposed to be. They missed a field goal to make it 10-9. They still won that game outright. We saw a different game. But that is the beauty of betting, my brother, because a friend of mine had a 5-team parlay that required Baltimore to cover. And I texted him, wow, did you get lucky? And he responded with, it was the right side. Down by 2 scores with 5 minutes to go in the game. Since he misses a kick, every bettor watches a game with rose-colored glasses. We have discussed this before. We're all out to lunch. We see it the way we want to see it. San Fran, all I needed was them to win yesterday. That was it. Just win the game. They lose a kicker, so they don't kick at the end of the game there. Then there was a 4th and 4 play that was a total fluke Hail Mary in the air that was caught by the Arizona guy. I thought San Fran should have won. I thought San Fran was the right side. Not cover, win outright. With that said, I'm okay with it being the wrong side. It's just rose-colored glasses again.
So part of the reason why I spend much of my Saturdays and Sundays watching games that I don't have action on as opposed to watching games that I do have action on is because you see things without your own bias with your bet. Influencing how you're viewing the game. So I spend a lot of time, when you talk about what do I watch? Yeah, I got my games on. That's why you have multi-TV setup.
Of course.
But what I'm focusing on normally, both Saturdays and Sundays, is we're looking forward to next week. We're not trying to sweat out this week's game. So for what it's worth, there's something to be said for that. Let's see what Rob Veno thinks. Rob, welcome to the program, my friend. How are you today?
Guys, it's glad to be away so long. It's good to be away so long and come back and find out that you two still love each other. I love that. Glad to be with you both here today. A nice Monday.
Yeah, Rob, listen, we love having you on. I'm going to get you in semi-regular rotation like most people. It's so hard, dude. I got a text from Ronald Kabang. I'm free now. Can I come on? And Ron, you're going to be on next week, I promise. But it's just so many handicappers that we've got to find space for. We love you, Rob Veno. Thanks for joining us, brother. Let's get straight into it, though. Monday Night Football. You've got a bet for us. Let's hear what it is.
Yeah, let me start by saying, Prez, don't ever worry about me. I'm never going to complain. When you fit me in, you fit me in. That's fine. Hey, I stopwatched this at 3 minutes and 44 seconds just for you, Prez. So hopefully I can get it out real quick here, auctioneer style. I'm going to look at New Orleans and Kansas City from a New Orleans team total perspective, play their side over 19 and a half. A couple of reasons why. Let's start with the big items in this game. And it's all about injuries here, right? The people like KC will point towards New Orleans' offensive line being banged up. The people who like New Orleans will point to KC without Rashee Rice here. Rashee Rice probably has gotten more coverage because Kansas City always gets more coverage. But let's start with New Orleans real quick. It's a third straight week that they've had a different starting group on that offensive line. But the one you'll see tonight actually had 4 of the 5 starters from last week that will play tonight. The difference is going to be at center. They signed Connor McGovern, 9-year veteran, absolute familiarity with the coaching staff and the system. He'll probably slip right in. Last week with these 4 guys that are going to start tonight on that 5-man offensive line, 26 points, 366 total yards, good balance, 131 and 235 through the air, 131 on the ground. 5 drives on 9 possessions. That's all they got, 9 true possessions. 5 drives between 50 and 65 yards behind this offensive line. It's important because the Falcon defense is comparable to KC's. They only give up 9 more yards per game. Let's look at Rashee Rice real quick. 24 catches. That's 7 more than the next 3 Kansas City wide receivers combined. You add up Xavier Worthy, Justin Watson, Juju Smith. You only get through 17 receptions, so 7 more by Rice. He's been targeted more. Kansas City's offense becomes the Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy deep shot show. I think they'll go back to what they did last year, first half of the season, which is try and play ball control, dink and dunk. The Saints are a good run defense, better overall numbers than they are per carry. Per carry, they give up 4.8, which is a little high. For New Orleans, when you look at them guys, they'll probably go opposite. They'll probably throw to set up the run because Kansas City's been a brick wall defensively. But I would venture to say that KC hasn't seen a receiving core like this. 2 over-the-top threats. Kamara out of the backfield is the 3rd leading receiver on the team. A pair of tight ends that can catch the ball. And when you look at Kansas City, they gave up 267 passing yards to Baltimore on this field, 246 to Cincy on this field. And remember, when they played Cincy, Higgins and Chase were both injured at the time. Chase played a little in game 1, played in game 2. Higgins, it was his first action. So the Falcons got 229 off of them. Kansas City can be thrown on here. The only team that hasn't done so was the Chargers last week, and they're punchless. If you add this all up, here's what I see. I see Mahomes in this dink and dunk patient style. We've seen it plenty of times before. He's not great at it. He's already thrown 5 picks this year. The team is -4 in turnover margin, which could help the Saints score. The Saints, 8 in the box tonight. Stop the run. Find Kelce. Let Kansas City do anything other than that. I think they'll have a lot of short possessions, KC. Some 3 and outs. Give the Saints lots of chances. With 10 chances, they should be able to get to 20 points. Kansas City on this field gave up 20 to Baltimore. Remember, they're 1 inch away from giving up 27 at the end of that game. 25 to the Bengals, pointed out, not in an offensive flow yet. 17 to the Falcons. The Falcons guys had turnovers on downs at the KC 6 and the KC 13. And I think New Orleans has plenty of firepower here. I think they'll have enough chances to get themselves over 19 and a half. I think they get to 20. That's the way I played it, guys. New Orleans team total over 19 and a half.
So, Rob, you said something that I just want to get my finger on it, because initially you said KC is going to be running ball control, which I agree. I feel like this is going to be a low possession game because you have 2 teams that play slow. You know, we're not going to see no huddles. We're not going to see fast-paced offenses. I think New Orleans is 30th in the league, and Kansas City's 23rd in seconds per snap. So we're two teams that play relatively slowly, and a Kansas City team that wants to run the football. Doesn't that mean a low game? And then on the other hand, you said, we expect a bunch of 3 and outs, and now it's going to be a high possession game. So talk about that, the discrepancy/disparity for me, because it makes a big difference in, I think, how you affect the total. How are you going to bet the total?
Yeah, my idea is, Teddy, that they're going to try and run the ball, Kansas City. It would be ball control for them first. I just don't think they'll be overly effective. I mean, ball control doesn't mean that you gain 3, gain 5, gain 3, first down, shoot clock, gain 3, gain 5, gain 3, shoot clock. 3 and outs, if you run and get 2 because they've stacked the line, if you try and run again and it's 3rd and 5 and you throw it incomplete, that's a punt. That's not chewing up clock. That's giving the other team chances. I don't think Kansas City is going to be able to go 45 plus yards on drives consistently enough to grind clock here. And New Orleans, on the other hand, is quick strike offense. I don't care how slow they go snap-wise. They'll hit you with 50-yard passes in a heartbeat, so it really doesn't matter about the slow. So when you're asking me to get to 19.5 with an offense like this, or get to 20 in this case, I don't think it's that hard. It requires 3 drives ending in touchdowns, or it requires 2 and 2 field goals. I think they're more than capable of that here tonight if they get about 10 possessions, which I think they will.
Rob Veno, outstanding stuff, brother. What do you got to promote for the clients?
Well, NFL Monday Night Football is up, but you guys just heard it, so don't worry about that. However, WNBA and MLB playoff action going to be up within this next 60 minutes, so you can find that. WNBA has been kind to me all season long. Major League Baseball, I didn't start playing until the playoffs, and we've been pretty good so far. So we look to extend that winning record. So you can find them both up at WagerTalk.com on my homepage, wt.buzz/RV.
Outstanding stuff, Rob. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Good luck tonight, my friend. Guys, real quick, 14 minutes left of the show. Teddy's big game breakdown still to come, and Carmine Bianco with another NFL bet for tonight's game, plus a hockey bet. I also want to say I'm in play tonight, guys. I've got a play up for my clients. It's only $15. Please, guys, I'm begging you. It's not a teaser. It's not a teaser. I'm killing it in NFL minus teasers, and it is not one, so make sure to grab that. Teddy, we're going to make your heart out, but I do want to make mention Tuesdays are now Trash Talk Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com. Teddy, I'd like to invite you on as a guest, not tomorrow, but the following Tuesday, so Steve Merrill and I can trash talk you. Are you game?
Sounds like fun.
Oh, look at that, guys. To give you guys a heads up, tomorrow will be Ross Benjamin, Brian Power, and Andrew McGinnis. And Dan, if you could just put this picture up really quick. So Jesse Schul tweeted this picture out. You can't zoom in on it, eh? Jesse, you tweeted this picture out, and I'm going to give you a piece of advice. You might want to mention that you married a Malaysian woman, and you have a Malaysian child, because you pretty much look like a person stealing a kid in Malaysia and about to run away with her. Not the best picture ever, you child-stealing man. You are going to be on Trash Talk Tuesday the following week. Teddy covers. It's time for your big game breakdown.
Big game breakdown. Let's talk some Major League Playoff baseball for Monday night. The Yankees and the Royals. Right now, look at the Wager Talk live odds screen. Yankees minus 145, minus 150. There are minus 155s out there as well. Total 7.5, a little bit of juice to the under. Before I talk about Yankees Royals, I do want to let you guys know, look, I always say don't buy a play, don't buy a package. This is the package to buy. 1 year, every play, every day, in every sport, just $99 a month. Real simple. You know, if you're going to buy one season, it makes sense to buy this. You want to buy NBA or NFL or college football, it's just $99 a month. A 1 year pass, $1,188. I know it's a big purchase, but if you want to get on board and see what we can do for real, this is your package. Check it out on my page right now, wt.buzz/TC. Yankees, Royals. So what is this series? You know, Aaron Judge versus Bobby Witt and everyone else is whoever. That wasn't the case in game one. In game one, both offenses got going. I'm not convinced we're going to see more of the same today. Kansas City can't hit, all right? You know, they won a series in which they scored 3 runs already this postseason. They were number 23 in WRC plus after the trade deadline with a 300 on-base percentage. They're facing Carlos Rodon and a pretty darn good bullpen today. I don't see the Royals putting up runs in bunches. That being said, I'm not in any rush to step in front of Cole Reagans. And this is one of there aren't many series where the Yankees are going to have a bullpen disadvantage. This might be one of them. Kansas City's pen has been phenomenal down the stretch. They were unbelievable in the first playoff series against Houston. And in a scenario where you're 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, guess what? All the key relief arms are ready again tonight. So this total sitting at 7.5. I know game one went over. I'm not anticipating more of the same here, considering these are two elite bullpens and both starting pitchers we trust. And neither lineup is necessarily clicking on all cylinders. Yankees or Royals under 7.5. It's a client play for me, and it's a free play for you. Thank you for watching Wager Talk Today. Prez, back to you, my friend.
Let's keep the show moving along. Carmine, Bianco. Look at that, Carm. You don't have 5 minutes. Normally, we run out of time. You come on at 100 miles an hour. You have 9.5 minutes. Let's start right off the bat with a trend that you told me about in the NFL that I thought was worth discussing live on air. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, you were complaining much like you do with Teddy about going 1-7 with your NFL teasers. So I thought I would give you some stats on what the NFL and how dogs have done this year. So after yesterday's games, NFL underdogs of 6+ points are 16-2-1 against the spread. Now I get it. That's against the spread. Straight up, 11-8 underdogs of 6+ points.
That's incredible.
Those are crushing a lot of teasers. I'll take it one step further, Prez. 5+ points, 17-4-3 against the spread, 13-11 straight up for underdogs. And then this is probably the most incredible one. Teams that are 7 or more point underdogs are 7-1-1 against the spread and 7-2 straight up. The favorites are getting crushed.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're teasers.
So just to be clear, and Carm, your numbers are different from mine slightly, but I'm
getting mine from
some grades get
Action
graded
Lab.
5, some grades get graded 6, some games get graded 6.5, and how you grade them is how the bottom line is, without a shadow of a doubt, you've been taking dogs of 5 points or more this NFL season, week in, week out, and betting them on the money line. You've made a small fortune through the first 5 weeks of the season, plain and simple.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those numbers are absolutely incredible. Teddy, let me ask you a question on this, and Carm, jump in. Is this going to go back to the means? I mean, have we stumbled on a trend that we should be betting against, or is this just what the NFL is right now?
So my take, personally, you want to talk parity? Who's good? Who's bad? It feels like 24 of the 32 teams are in a very narrow box. And shit, I mean, the Giants look good now all of a sudden. They covered 3 in a row. Even the very bad teams are looking.
And the Bears.
Baltimore's defense is dicey as hell. The good teams are. The good teams aren't as good. The bad teams aren't as bad. There's a shitload of parity. Hence, dogs are covering. Carm, agree, disagree?
I agree, Teddy. And we see it now every Thursday and Friday, especially Fridays when those injury reports are coming out. I don't think I've ever seen an NFL season like this season with the amount of injuries and star players going down. And you would think the numbers would adjust accordingly. Maybe they are, and I'm just missing it. But it just seems there's 3 or 4 guys who could be game changers each and every week that don't practice Wednesday, don't practice Thursday, and then are questionable on Friday but never make it into the lineup. So it makes betting sports much tougher if you want to bet it early and get a good number that moves against you on Sunday. So it's tough. And Teddy, when you talk about Seattle, can someone excuse me there? A little bit of a choke. Can someone, which is what Seattle did last night, can someone explain to Aiden Durd what a 5-yard slant is? Because the New York Giants and Danny Dimes used that same play over and over and over again to keep drives going and just keep Seattle, the Seattle offense off the field. It was so frustrating to watch that game. It was the only loss for me yesterday, and in the Cooking with Carm segment where I put out 5 plays you'll find on WagerTalk TV, that was the only loss.
Cooking with Carm. I've had the
move on.
pleasure of eating with Carm. Carm, let's get into it. We only have a couple of minutes. St. Louis is playing Seattle tomorrow. The NHL season has begun. We had 2 games offshore, if you will, overseas. But the actual real season starts tomorrow. The Kraken are minus 140 at home. They've picked up a lot of new players. I think they have a good team, a mid to good team moving forward. And I think St. Louis is a bet against coming into this year. Where are you going in this game?
So when you talk about St. Louis being a bet against, they're just going to be a middle of the standings kind of team. They gave interim coach Drew Bannister the job as a full-time coach. He went 30-19-5 since coming in, but they had the same problems under them that they had under Craig Berube, who is the Leafs coach now. And I don't think they got any better, even with a couple offer sheet during the off season. It's the Kraken. I think the Kraken are going to be better. Coach Dan Bylsma. He's a good coach at getting stuff out of guys. He coached that for Coachella, and a lot of the guys there, he developed talent. One of the guys who's going to be playing, obviously, a full season this year, Shane Wright. They got Chandler Stevenson now. They're going to be better down the middle as well to this team. He's going to get a guy like Matty Berniers to play better. Calder Trophy 2 years ago. Not so good last season for this team. It's funny, they come in, they have a horrible season as in their first inaugural season in the NHL. Then they make the playoffs the next season. They miss it with a bad season. It's sort of that roller coaster for the Seattle team. But I think they're going to be better, Lawrence, this season. I think we're going to see some scoring out of this team. I think Montour helps that power play at the top of the point. I'll take the Kraken at home. It's minus 140. The price is where it should be. It should never be any higher than this. You shouldn't be playing it any higher than this. And I don't think it's going to drop. This is one of those lines that came out at 140, stays at 140. If it drops 5 or 10 cents, you're getting a better price. But the Kraken for me in the season opener in Seattle.
You can find them at minus 137 at Circa right now. If you shop in the global books, you can find as low as minus 134 on the Seattle Kraken. Prevailing number minus 140. And if you're not finding minus 140, open more sportsbook betting accounts, because that's a number you should be able to find right now. Let's talk Monday Night Football props. You want to talk Travis Kelce. Kelce had 8 catches the first 3 weeks, and then last week he exploded for a season high, 7 catches, 89 yards. What are we expecting tonight? Lots of Kelce or not that much Kelce against the Saints defense that probably looking to stop him?
Yeah, I think even last week they were looking to stop it with the injuries to this team. But as you mentioned, his production has gone up. It's been a slow start for him. This is a client play for mine on taking the Kelce over 5.5 receptions. And a lot of this also has to do with, I get it. The Saints don't allow a lot of TDs to tight ends, but the tight ends have gotten a lot of production against them. You look at the Cowboys. Jake Ferguson was injured. Schoonmaker comes in, 6 targets, 6 receptions. Against the Eagles, Dallas Goedert, they couldn't stop him. 11 targets, 10 receptions in that one as well, too. First game of the season, obviously, they played the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young there. It didn't matter who they had at tight end. They could have got at tight end. He wasn't going to catch more than 5.5 receptions. And then against with Kyle Pitts, it's weird that Atlanta hasn't been a team that's targeting their tight ends this season with Kirk Cousins. The first 4 games of the season, only 15 targets combined over the 4 games to Kyle Pitts. So this is one in which, as you mentioned, and I think Rob mentioned, a lot of dink and dunk. Kels finds a little bit of space, and Mahomes will find him. He gets 6 or more receptions in this one.
Carmine, Bianco, outstanding stuff, dude. A nice 4-1 day at the circuit for you. Seeing it well. Thanks for joining us. Kick ass this NHL season. And what do you have to promote?
Four plays up in the NFL today. It's a play and props package. 5-1 last Monday night to give us a good winning week, and we're going to win it tonight and have another winning week in the NFL and move on from there. NHL season puck time returns tomorrow at 11 a.m. Andrew McInnes and I will break down the 3 games in the NHL, and then we'll have our regular guests coming on. Lawrence, you're on Thursday. Don Buster comes on Wednesday. Brian Leonard will return next week. Guys, puck season's here. Tune in every morning, 11 a.m. Make it part of your routine.
Thank you, Carmine Bianco. Guys, don't forget to play my NFL tonight. $15 over at WagerTalk.com. Teddy covers. See you Wednesday, my brother. Everyone else, tomorrow, Trash Talk Tuesday. Take us home, bro.
Yeah, I'm involved in tonight's game as well. You can get my play right now over at WagerTalk.com. WT.buzz/TC for a top total report. 67% NFL run over the last 2 weeks. That's going to wrap it for the Monday edition of Wager Talk Today. Stay tuned right here on the channel for the NFL opening line report. Myself and Drew Martin. Between now and tomorrow's show, enjoy the games and best of luck with all your bets.